Hi everyone, my name is Sophia Jabot and I'm a senior student at Holy Innocents Physical School, and for my honors psychology of good and evil course, I will be presenting, aka podcasting, about the role of empathy or lack thereof in psychopathy. Over the course of this podcast, I will define what psychopathy and empathy is, cover where empathy comes from, and how psychopaths lack it, and what happens when individuals like psychopath lack empathy. My sources include Just Babies by Paul Bloom, The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout, The Empathetic Brain of Psychopaths from Social Sciences to Neuroscience and Empathy by Drosana DM Van Doggen, and a few other websites that I'm not going to mention. And of course, a video podcast called Psychopathy Unmasked by this, I'm not sure if y'all know him, a random guy called Mike Plant. Okay, so let's get started. So let's get our definitions straight. What is psychopathy and what is empathy? So officially, psychopathy is recognized as a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, a personality disorder characterized by persistent disregard of the rights of other people, the failure to comply with laws and social customs, and irresponsibility and reckless behavior. But if we do a little bit more digging, psychopathy is more than just ASPD, antisocial personality disorder. Psychopathy is characterized by a combination of traits that relate to personality and behavior. These traits include, but are not limited to, emotional coldness, lack of guilt or remorse, superficial charm, psychological lying, manipulativeness, failure to accept responsibility, parasitic lifestyle, poor behavioral control, and of course, lack of empathy. If you or your loved one is suspected of being a psychopath, please reach out to trained professionals in order to be tested for psychopathy using the most reliable testing method, the Hare Psychopathy Checklist Survived, or PCL-R. Out of curiosity, I actually took this test, not with a trained individual though, but just on my own, and rest assured, I got a 13. In North America, the score of 30 to 40 is considered psychopathy, so I'm not a psychopath. Yippee! Anyway, now that we have a good look of what psychopathy is, let's take a look at empathy and why psychopaths lack it. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person by putting yourself in their situation. I would consider myself a pretty empathetic person. I can tell because my friends refuse to sit next to me in movie theaters because the second some kind of slightly sad or emotional scene comes up, I always end up bawling my eyes out. And I'm pretty sure y'all have witnessed this, which is really embarrassing on my part. But anyway, as Paul Bloom has said in his Just Baby books, just like me, we as humans since birth are born with empathy. Of course, not psychopaths, but the normal non-psychopathic human is born with empathy, with the ability to empathize. And this is not in a way our souls are blessed with the ability to empathize, but in a brain neurological way. Our brains give us the ability to empathize with others. There's a popular neural theory for how empathy works and why we have it, and it's the idea of mirroring neurons. Essentially, an experiment was done where these mirroring neurons would fire in the brain of a monkey who was watching another animal act, and when the monkey was performing the same act, these mirroring neurons would fire between the animal he's watching and himself. Essentially, mirroring neurons help us feel as if we are experiencing the same emotions as the person we are observing. And, if it's found in monkeys, it's got to be found in humans, right? So that was the theory, but in humans, essentially the theory is actually wrong. The idea of mirroring neurons is totally blown out of proportions, but in despite of that, within our brains, functional neural imaging studies have shown that imagining emotional experiences from our own and from someone else's perspective results in similar, aka mirroring, psychological reactions and pattern of brain activation. This tells us that there must be some sort of evolutionary mechanism behind empathy, within our brains. And I'll tell you, the reason why we evolved to have empathy with other people is because it motivates compassion, and compassion drives us to care about each other. The more we care about each other, the more we have compassion, the more likely we are able to form strong bonds and strong groups. And if we form strong groups, we form a strong society. And if there's one thing we know about humanity is that we thrive in society. As we have stated, empathy is the evolutionary mechanism that motivates us to be compassionate. But psychopaths lack the very evolutionary mechanism of empathy. This lack of empathy is linked to many parts of the brain, including the insula, which is involved with sensory perception, emotional awareness, and empathy and compassion. It is also connected to the amygdala within our brain, and the amygdala is involved with fear and anxiety processing, social bonding and attachment, memory, constellation of emotional events, and reward and motivation. We, as normal functioning humans, have fully formed insulas and amygdalas, but psychopaths do not. Studies have shown that psychopaths have reduced activity and volume in specific regions of the brain, such as the amygdala, and impaired connectivity with other brain regions like the retromedial prefrontal cortex. These deficiencies can be from genetics, which account for about 50% of psychopathic traits, or environmental factors, such as brain trauma, which account for less than 10% of psychopathic traits. Now that we've established how psychopaths lack empathy, let's discuss the consequences. Approximately 16% of males involved in the United States criminal justice system, prisons, jails, prohibition, parole, are affected by high levels of psychopathy. One meta-analysis found that approximately 25 to 34.4% of murders are committed by psychopaths. And famous serial killers such as Ted Bundy, Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, and Richard Ramirez are psychopaths. As you can see, not all, but many psychopaths have a pattern of being perpetrators of crimes and violent murders. And this is because of their lack of empathy. For many of us, our empathy stops us from doing a lot of crimes ourselves. This might be like pushing someone down the stairs or, stealing from someone. But psychopaths don't have this empathy to stop them from doing these crimes. They might understand what they're doing is wrong, they just don't care. There's nothing in their brain that empathizes with the people that they are hurting. A good example of this is CEOs. Many CEOs out there happen to be high-functioning psychopaths, and the reason these high-functioning psychopaths have very high-position CEO positions is because they're able to step on others to get where they are today. They're able to sacrifice the well-being of a lot of lower-class workers because they just don't care. They're able to do whatever they want to rise on the top because they lack empathy. What is stopping you from doing maybe some of these bad crimes does not stop psychopaths. We may feel bad for our actions, but psychopaths don't, which gives them the key to do whatever they want in society. But remember back in the beginning, when we were talking about how empathy is an evolutionary trait within us. It helps us maintain societies. It helps us form societies. And because of our compassion for others. But psychopaths don't have this compassion. They don't care about other people. And so, in turn, many people won't care about psychopaths. No one wants to be friends with someone who doesn't care about them. And that's why a lot of psychopaths end up in jail or end up on the streets, because they don't fit into society. It is not in their biology. It is not in their evolutionary. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope I get a good grade. Stay empathetic, guys. Yay.